Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 94 with Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. And today we are announcing a new design service. So as you know from listening to our podcast over the last 3 years, you know that we run a very successful interior design firm in Atlanta that's now over 15 years old. We have invested a substantial amount of time and money to continue our education over the years, to keep improving our operations, sharpening our design skills, and expanding our design knowledge as it pertains to trends, products, and resources. So we'd love to share our expertise, and we're finally formalizing this effort, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so before we dig in, we want to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by Helzer Brothers Hardware. They're a fully custom manufacturer of drapery hardware sold to the trade. Their customer service agents, I love this, are called the Rod Squad, and they're trained to help designers and drapery workrooms work out the solutions to difficult window configurations. They are retired interior designers and drapery workroom owners who with many decades of experience. So they have an outstanding reputation. Any order over $100 is shipped free. And they are equipped with vintage tools to produce hand-forged wrought iron hardware and modern tools to produce contemporary hardware. They've been in business for 24 years, and it was started with brothers Mark and Jay when they were in their mid-20s. So check them out at helzerbrothers.com.
All right, so we're going to give you a little background information first before we dig into this new service that we've cooked up. And, you know, our philosophy has always been, if you're not learning, you're not growing, right? We sat down and we really thought about the amount of coaching we have invested in, the amount of industry conferences we've attended, both locally, nationally, internationally, the amount of random industry events we've signed up for, all in an effort to gain another nugget of inspiration, knowledge, and insight.
Can you guess how many hours this is added up to? This is really kind of scary.
Yeah.
We can honestly say it's in the thousands of hours and an investment probably over $100,000 over 15 years.
Yes.
But it has been worth every single penny.
And it has really made us a valuable entity, I would say.
Yes.
Because we are, like we said, always growing, always knowing, always learning. And I swear to God, every client we have, every install we have, and we're still learning every day. It's just crazy. And we still, make mistakes here and there, and we learn from those too. And
we've learned a lot from other designers and other coaches who, sometimes their experience, what you can gain from their experience telling you has saved you from that experience. And that has happened over and over and over again.
So we really feel like there are a lot of blessings in this topsy-turvy year we're having, and it's been the space to think outside the box in regards to our business. Not just how to be flexible working from home, or how to master the Zoom call, or how to make our clients feel safe and comfortable, but how to meet the demand when it comes to our services.
So we have decided to meet the demand that has quietly been knocking on the door for years, but we've been too busy growing in other directions to give it any formal attention. The demand comes from our industry, from our designer friends and peers who are new but also seasoned interior designers.
So inquiring minds have often reached out to us asking for a few moments or hours of our time to discuss our finely tuned operation techniques, how we close the sale, how we outsource to make time for design, how we qualify our clients, what our contracts look like, and above all, the most asked question is how in the world we have mastered the art of a happy and successful partnership.
There really have been so many times that people have reached out to us. And being in this business, it can be very lonely, especially now if you're working from home and not getting out as much. I think there are a lot of people who would love to have a partner to kind of bounce things off of, to go to events together, there's times Kelly and I are working on a project and I'll be like, dang, I just cannot figure out, the side, what I need to do here. And she'll look at it and she'll come up with it. Where I've been I've just beat my head and I need another opinion. So that's when it's nice to have somebody else to bounce it off of. That's one of the reasons. But having a partnership takes a lot of work. There's a lot to it. And so we've kind of helped some people and explain some of the things you need, to do at the onset.
We've had a couple designers in Atlanta who we've gotten to know over the years call us and say, okay, I really am tired and I love what I do, but I'm just tired. And I see you guys and I want that too. And I think I know somebody but how do I even start that conversation? And if we were to get together and form a partnership, then what? How do you split it 50-50? Do you each keep your own clients? Do you work together on every project? How in the world does it work? And so in the past, we have chit-chatted with these friends, maybe gone out to lunch, and we've never charged for our time. And some of our coaches have been like, why are you doing that? And we're like, what do you mean? We're friendly, approachable, we love to share. And they're like, that's a service. So we're like, oh, okay. Well,
and the other thing too is it's not really just, people in Atlanta. When we go to High Point or we go to all these industry events, people are generally by themselves. There's only been a couple of times where Kelly and I have not gone to an event together. And quite honestly, we're not shy. We don't mind going by ourselves, but it was really a different experience. And you have to be pretty bold to just walk up to a group and say, hi, I'm whatever, So, and if you're not that kind of person, it's really hard and you're missing out on some really good networking and things like that. So from that standpoint, that's a big help. But the other part of it is all the legal kind of stuff. That's stuff that nobody really thinks about,
Yeah.
Your contract and, a buy-sell agreement. There's a lot to it. So these are the kinds of things that if someone is interested in talking to us about, because we've had a lot of experience with it, this is the kind of thing that you can reach out to us and we will answer your questions.
And what always amazes me is, and this has been a benefit of all the conferences and all the things that we've gone to. For example, let's say we're at Design Bloggers Conference or we're in High Point, and one of the designers that we think is so amazing is Alexa Hampton. And she's very casual and normal and friendly and lovely and
funny
and funny as heck.
She's so
and
funny.
She'll come right out and say what she's struggling with. I'm like, what? Just the other day, Veronica Solomon reached out to us, and she is the most talented designer. I mean, she is wow. And she emailed and reached out to us because she was going to start working on it wasn't multifamily per se, but it was some high-end models in a new development. And she was asking us how we price it, how we do our contracts, and how we tackle that. And so we went back and forth together. And I was so honored to help her, and she was so grateful.
But you know what? It's really valuable information. Because I remember us starting out, if someone had approached us and said, okay, we need you to do this model, we wouldn't even know where to begin. So we reached out to our colleagues and we've kind of learned. So if we can take these strategies and kind of help people so they don't have to go through all that, it's very scary. But once you figure it out, it's great. And the other thing is the contracts. I mean, that's a scary thing. We've had such great luck with other people sharing their contracts with us. That's a pretty big deal. That's really valuable information.
Our contract was built off of, I want to say, our friend Jessie LaFalce, who was one of my teachers at the Art Institute of Atlanta, who has become a great friend. And I want to say it was built off of that. And then we reached out to oh my God, Brain Labs, who's our designer friend in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Liz Carroll,
who we adore. And then
Tracy Zeller.
Tracy Zeller, that's right, in Charlotte. We revamped and we kind of took 4 contracts from people that we really admired and kind of sliced and diced and made our own. But if they hadn't shared that with us, we were stuck in the mud.
How do we know these? We don't know these legal terms.
We couldn't. And then we ran it by our attorney, but we needed to get it down on paper first because he's not, we don't have an attorney that's an interior design attorney per se. So, he didn't know. And, speaking of Tracy and Charlotte, we just had dinner not at High Point Market with Kara Cox, who's another designer that I think is the best in Charlotte. And
no, she's in Greensboro.
Oh, sorry, Greensboro. I always think she's Charlotte. And she was asking us, we went out to dinner and she was asking us about our multifamily work, and she was telling us about this amazing client that she has she has a great podcast, and she has a huge women-owned business, and she was doing some stuff that we haven't done yet. So we were sharing, and really that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Is sharing and learning.
And the thing is, in the interior design world, there are no like rules. So you can charge what you want. You can do hourly. You can do flat fee. You can present any way you want. Some people have these huge mood boards that they do. Other people present keynote, PowerPoint. To me, that was what I always want to see. How are other people doing it? Because the presentation is the big sale. I mean, that's the big sales pitch. And so we have gotten this perfected, and I'm really proud of our presentations. And you can just see as we're showing the clients everything and have it all laid out, and it's all, very detailed and very meticulous. You can just see them starting to get really excited, because they're kind of nervous when they come in. We've had a couple people say, boy, I had no idea. I was really worried because I would feel bad if I didn't like something and I have to ask you to change it. But if we're doing our job right, there's a lot of questions that we ask, and that's something else that if somebody needs help with, what kind of questions do you need to ask? How do you qualify? Because qualifying, if you do that right in the beginning, that just makes the whole project go well. Because if you're not really listening or asking the right questions, you're going to get it wrong, and then that just causes more work for you.
Oh, my goal is always to hit it out of the park on day one. Please don't make me reselect something. Yeah. I mean, it's so much. By the time I put a coffee table in front of you, I've looked at another 20, and I've considered the lamp and the chair and the fabric and the tones and the hues and the scale and so generally when we present to a client, no matter how big the project, there's very few changes. And I know that there's probably designers listening going, no way, you're lying. But it's really true. And we expect to check on the spot. And it's almost sad when they don't write a check on the spot. But I mean, we've tabled a few things, and said, okay, let's sign off on everything that's approved. And if 5% needs to be tweaked, then totally great. We'll get it to you.
Get it ordered and whatever. And the other thing is the different furniture lines that we carry now. Every now and then somebody will post something and I'll be like, I've never heard of that company. I thought we knew all the manufacturers.
Like the cozy sheets that are sitting in our lobby right now.
Yes. So we're constantly trying to find the new, Etsy people that we found that are just great stuff. So we're constantly trying to grow and learn, but over the past 15 years, all that we have gained, I think, is really, really, I don't know.
It's valuable, and we want to share it, and we don't mind sharing, but we are going to formalize it a little bit. So when you're done listening to this episode, please go to our website, which is kandrack-cole.com, and you spell it KANDRAC-KOLE.com. And then under services, you're going to see a new category called Pick Our Brain. So this is your opportunity, whether you're an interior design student, maybe you're a sole proprietor looking to grow, or you're even a seasoned designer like our friends we've been talking about that just need a pep talk to consult with us on any matter of your choosing. So as we found out personally, we've been talking about many times, learning from others is a shortcut to success. And we really feel strongly about that. There's probably nothing you could ask us that we haven't experienced. And we aren't afraid to tell you how we've learned from our own mistakes and our own stumbling blocks and why we do what we do, because we probably screwed up at one point.
Yeah. I think about interior design students when they first come out, and they're at such a disadvantage. I mean, granted, some of this just takes experience is how you learn. But you have to seek others. You have to be out there. You don't just get that college degree and you've learned everything you need to know. Mm-hmm. You're constantly learning. And I think that's what's really helped us, is reaching out to other people. And people have been so great and helping us with, whether it be a manufacturer or something we need like out of town. window fabrication. I mean, there's so many elements to interior design. I know that window treatments are very scary for a lot of designers because it's very technical. I think if I was a business on my own, I probably wouldn't do window treatments because it's still very intimidating to me. It's not my core competency. Kelly is so great at that.
That's all right. I wouldn't touch wallpaper.
Yeah.
That's your deal.
And so that's why having, great resources like Helzer Brothers, they really, they will sit and walk you through it. They don't expect you to know everything about it. So you have to be able to reach out to people that are smarter than you and know more than you, and that's how you learn.
Well, and isn't that always the key to when successful people speak, whether it be Richard Branson or Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey, they say surround yourself with people that are better and smarter than you, and you just steer the boat, but they're underneath you. And that's how I feel about our community and the other designers that are, underneath us, because as you probably know from listening to our podcast, this is a second career for both of us. So we entered into this partnership and in this industry with incredible sales acumen that we had learned from our previous jobs, financial understanding, great rapport, and ability to speak to others. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of refining. And so when you're young, you might not have those skills refined yet. And why would you? I mean, that takes time. So we can handhold a lot of that. So once you land on Pick Our Brain service on back to the website, you can press the link to our shop page where you can purchase personal time with us via phone or Zoom, whatever your preference, in increments of 30 minutes. So, and then the price will change per 30 minutes. I want to say it's $250 for 30 minutes, $500 for an hour. It kind of goes up from there. I would think if it were me, I would want at least an hour, if not more. And then the value gets better as you go from there.
So even though you all know us very well from this podcast, if you'd like to hear a little bit more of what Pick Your Brain is about, we want you to listen to the very latest episode of Luann Nigara's podcast, A Well-Designed Business, where we were guests on November 24th. So if you haven't listened to Luann's podcast, you must.
You must.
It gives such great common sense business tips, and it is a well-designed business for interior designers. So
she was on our podcast, and if you've listened to that episode, then she's from New Jersey. She's very gregarious and she laughs a lot, and she really digs deep with her guests, and they are all. It's funny. She owns a window covering business, but she's very, very savvy, obviously, in the interior design business. And she has geared her podcast to us. And so with every guest, she really gets to the brass tacks of running a well-designed business. And actually, you can take a lot of this to other businesses. And I often think, like when we were doing this, I was thinking, couldn't anybody talk to us? Because we are small business entrepreneurs, are we not? And we have an interior design business, but I think we could take the fundamentals of how we've built this business and grown it and apply it to any industry. So how we interact with clients, how we close the sale, how we use our software and things to make everything go smoothly. And then a really important part, and the thing that we're really working on, is the reveal of a home design. People have trusted us and invested a lot of money in their homes, and so we want to make that a special reveal for them. And just today, it was so great. We got a huge basket, the biggest I've
ever seen, from Harry and David, from clients that we really worked on their entire home, and they just sent a little note that said, "Thank you for making our house a home." To me, that just made my year. I mean, someone that appreciates that. So in return, we want people to feel that way, that we are really invested in making your house home what you want. It isn't just about making it beautiful. That's kind of a given, but it's really the feelings that you get, and I think a lot more people are feeling that way in their homes.
Oh, for
I guess
sure.
The reason why we're slammed is because people realize that being home,
we're going to be home for a lot longer than we thought we were going to be.
It's your safe place. It's where, you want beautiful surroundings. You want comfortable surroundings. So I think...
another podcast that we love is called The Business of Home. And if you're an interior designer listening, you really need to tune into that one. I love the narrator's voice. I'm blanking on his name right now. I love their content. It's all about what other interior designers and large corporations and big businesses are doing in our industry that pertains to us. And it was actually, I think, on that podcast, or it could have been a Facebook conversation where the topic came up of how to make a reveal on install day a big celebration, whether it be an apple pie cooking in the oven or charcuterie platter with Prosecco, and so that when they walk in the door, our clients who have been gone for the last couple hours or day or two waiting for us to finish, they walk in and not only is their home complete, but it becomes a very festive experience, and we're all there to experience it together. So that's something that we learned from our colleagues and being involved in our industry.
Yeah.
So we hope you'll reach out, and if you need anything, knowledge, inspiration, or just a good old-fashioned girl talk about business or whatever, we hope that you'll go to our website and go to that Pick Our Brain service and sign up to be with us, and we will put 1,000% effort into helping and sharing our knowledge and the nuggets that we've built up over the years.
And people will always ask, how do you do your presentations? What do you do? How do you manage all the social media that you do?
Oh yeah, we get that question a lot.
Asking us that.
How do you do the design you do, but then you do a podcast and you do social media too? Yeah.
Who do you use for a newsletter? Why do you use them?
Yeah.
How do you get your email list up? And what kind of things do you send in your newsletter? Like, there's so many aspects to what we're doing. I mean, designing is a big one, but keeping your business fresh and new, and your website and keeping that photography, like all the things that, that's something that we've had to learn from others too, is like styling for a photo shoot. I remember one of our very first photo shoots, we had no idea how things looked through the lens, and you had to move a piece of furniture that in real life didn't look right, but through the lens it looked great. And how you really have to judge how you need the flowers, how you need the fruit, the things on the table. So even if it's questions like that, because we've done so many photo shoots.
Absolutely. And yeah, the more I think about it, if I were a new designer, there'd be way more questions that I had not design related, more business related, or more, do you guys pay for advertising? And if you do, what have you done in the past that worked?
How do you approach editors of magazines? Because we've been published quite a bit.
Yes, and we're about to be published again big this summer. How does that happen? What did you have to do? How much did it cost? Or how much was your photography? Or do you hire a stylist, or do you do it yourself? And so, and if you did a big job and it didn't get published, why? What did you learn from it? I mean, the list goes on and on.
Why are you doing a podcast right now? what is it doing for you?
Yeah. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
So anyway, as you can tell, we're very excited about it, and we feel like the cost compared to what we've paid for this knowledge is quite minimal, but we really feel like we all need to share, and we are gonna just formalize this service and share it with everybody.
Yeah. So if you do go to our website, you'll also notice we have a couple of new projects on there, which are very exciting. We just finished photographing a multifamily leasing center. It's called MAA Buckhead. And it is this leasing center started out as a huge just concrete shell. So it's been kind of a 2-year project, and we finally just finished it and photographed it. And
ooh-wee.
Wow.
It's like a luxury hotel, really. That's what it looks like.
Yes, it really does look like a luxury hotel. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of work, but it was so rewarding to see it finally done. All of those selections, and dealing with the architect, and all the questions back and forth with the contractor. It was a ton of work, but boy, does it look good.
Yeah, and the staff is happy, which is the best part.
I sent the photos to my daughter. She goes, "Mom, this looks like it should be in a magazine." That's a nice compliment.
Thanks, honey. All right, so there you go. There you have it. So we're going to finish up with our funny and our serious quote.
Go ahead. I know you loved a funny quote.
I kind of do at this point because, oh my gosh, didn't we all think that COVID would be finished by the end of the year, would have run its course, by now, and it most certainly has not, and people are canceling their holiday plans, but we'll get through it. It all good things must come to an end. All bad things must come to an end too. So here we go. At this point, Jesus doesn't need to take the wheel. He needs to pull over and spank someone with his flip-flop. What he just needs to, a big old spank. Come on, get us going here.
Get us out of this.
Get us out of this.
All right,
I love it.
Here's our serious quote.
Ready?
You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And that's from Maya Angelou.
Which
Yes.
I think is so appropriate for today, right?
Yes. And so as this episode is airing, it will be Thanksgiving the next day. So we want to thank everyone for listening and just say that we are so grateful for each other, our business, our families, and
Our health.
and just that we've made it through this year, and just hang in there, everybody. It's going to get better.
It's going to get better. And I always tell my kids, you can't be stressed and count your blessings at the same time. So just think about that. Say that over and over again to yourself during the day. You can't be stressed and count your blessings at the same time. And even though there's a lot of hardship out there, we all still can find those blessings somewhere, somehow. So that's what we wish for you.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrak-Cole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.